Sabah, world-renowned for her ethnic diversity. However, this multiracial mix has also given rise to some titanic power tussles between the leaders. The battle for racial supremacy became more intense the day she became part of Malaysia. On that historic day, Tun Fuad Stevens, the leader of the Kadazan people, led North Borneo into a new nation and swore his oath of office as Sabah's first chief minister.
It was definitely my husband's greatest moments in politics. To be able to serve the people was always what drove him to take the challenge.
The challenge was to unite the people of Sabah. It needed a leader who was diplomatic. Tun Fuad Stevens was such a leader. He was a true Sabahan. Born Donald Aloysius Marmaduke Stevens on the 14th of September 1920, the life of Tun Fuad Stevens was a checkered one. There were times he sank to the depths of despair, but time and again he fought his way up with vigor and optimism. He was larger than life, a man of the people. From early on, he gained a reputation as a petition and letter writer. In short, he was a champion for the oppressed.
People used to come to him, and at first there was no payment, but of course they came to him to ask to write letters for them.
He works quite late sometimes, day and night, on his old typewriter.
And then he realized from there that these people didn't have enough information about the law and about what their rights were. So that's when he started to think he should start writing columns about that.
His passion slowly turned into a profession when he started writing articles for the North Borneo News, a fortnightly paper in Sandakan. His critical views would challenge the colonial government.
He always write, I think, is critical of the British government. And that's how I think the governor at that time noticed him and probably recruited him to be a member of the Legislative Assembly. I think that's how he got noticed. And while he was a member of the EXCO, he still write on all issues, which he feel very strongly for the people.
His lifelong ambition was fulfilled when, with the help from his brother, Ben Stevens, he started his own paper, the Sabah Times. Donald's paper would consume most of his time. He ensured his paper had a column about his race, the Kadazans. He believed that they were by right of birth and history the true owners of North Borneo.
He actually became the strength and the pillar for the society and for us. He made us feel proud of us, ourselves, you know.
He has opened the eyes of the Kadazan people in as far as politics and daily business is concerned. And I think this is one of the impression that he has given to the people of the Kadazan that make him liked by them.
Although being only half Kadazan, the Kadazan people warmed up to Donald. He would religiously attend their society meetings and actively contribute towards their cause.
He came to the meeting and said, I have just got word from the colonial administration is that the Kadazan Harvest Festival has been approved as a public holiday. So we have been fighting for it, you see. So everybody was very happy, and the elders of the Kadazan who were present then stood up and proclaimed him as the Huguan Siao.
Donald Stevens was made the modern-day Huguan Siao, which means paramount leader, the most revered position in the Kadazan society. With his standing as a member of the Legislative Council, Donald was now the voice of his people. Despite his friendship with the British, he became a firm critic of their measures. As a result, Donald caught the eye of the colonial government, and they see him as a potential state leader.
The British in the late 50s, early 60s decided they want to give up all their colonies. So the British governor then told Donald that, hey, please get ready, the British wants to withdraw.
The news of the colonial government's intentions was met with much joy. Yet, despite the feeling of liberty, Donald Stevens and his childhood friend Datu Mustafa, the leader of the Bajau community, would have to carefully navigate their beloved state's journey into nationhood. The British were leaving. North Borneo was gearing for independence. Then, an announcement was made. It was about the unification of 5 territories: Malaya, Singapore, Sarawak, Brunei, and North Borneo. It was known as the Malaysia Plan, mooted by the Malaya Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman. Donald, at first, wasn't too sure if it was the best thing for North Borneo.
The initial reaction of the leaders from the Borneo territories, i.e. Sarawak, Brunei, and Sabah, was one of rejection. They rejected this Malaysia Plan proposal outright.
At first, the people of interior, they were against the concept of Malaysia. Completely, they don't want. Especially the Muruts and also the Bajau, they say, we don't want anymore. You get the British out, then you get another dictator, he said, That's what they told me, you see.
The people rejected the Malaysia Plan idea. The British, however, had a different view.
The governor told Donald Stephen that the British supported the idea, and asked whether the leader of North Borneo, Sabah and Sarawak will come along with that idea.
After being shown tangible achievements brought about since Malayan independence, Donald had a change of heart. The sudden shift was also helped by the persuasive abilities of Singapore Premier Lee Kuan Yew.
Sikit tuan-tuan, kalau lama begini tak dapat merdeka Malaysia. Merdeka Malaysia!
During several discussions between the two, Lee Kuan Yew managed to convince Donald that Singapore and North Borneo needed to be one nation.
They were very close in the early stage of Malaysia, In fact, I think Kuan Yew to a great extent convinced him that Malaysia is the best for North Borneo at that time. Because Donald was the last to go on board to support Malaysia.
Donald went on to convince his people to accept the Malaysia Plan. He explained the benefits of the plan and put their fears to rest. His enthusiasm managed to win their hearts. The people agreed, and so, in 1963, Sabah became part of Malaysia, with Donald as the chief minister. It was the high point of his political career thus far, to be able to lead his people into nationhood. However, the problems were just brewing. The governor, Tun Mustafa, too, wanted to wield his power.
There are two major definitive race, and that is the indigenous Muslim, Suluk Bajau, and the indigenous Kadazan, Dusun. Both wanted to be the successor to the British. You know,